So one thing we have all been asking for in Black Ops 6 Zombies, I think, is more content, more maps, more stuff to do, more Easter eggs, more storyline information being told to us through cutscenes, character quotes. Overall, I would say ever since Cold War, the biggest request has been for just zombies to include more stuff. And that all began for me when we reverted back to just one zombies map on day one. Ever since Black Ops 1 in 2010, we had seen two zombies maps on the day of release. So BO1 had Kino and 5, BO2 had Transit and Nuketown, Black Ops 3, Shadows of Evil and the Giant, Black Ops 4 had loads of maps on day one, and then in Black Ops Cold War we had just one, being D Machine. Vanguard we had one, Duran Fang, and Modern Warfare 3 is something totally different. And to make the situation even worse, those three latest games that had just one zombies map on day one also had less DLC maps throughout their life cycles. Normally we would get 4 maps, DLC 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now Activision have changed up how it works slightly. We don't have DLC content packs anymore as such. We have seasons and 6 of them, and we don't get a zombies map every season. But at the very least, what we wanted to see was more content in zombies again, and that begins with maps. And fortunately, it looks like we won't be repeating the same cycle that we've been trapped in, because a credible leaker by the name of Hey I'm Alex said over on Twitter, 6 zombies maps planned? Question mark. Now let me just correct myself and say you have to take every leak with a grain of salt. We've heard so many leaks from people in the past that just turned out not to be true. That's not always the case. Sometimes things just change. That information might have been right at the time the leaker heard it, but Treyarch changed their minds and scrap it before it releases. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, when I first saw this tweet, I was like, hang on, so 6 DLC maps are you talking about? Which would not only be a lot, but would also work because we have 6 seasons. So a new map per season sounds crazy, but awesome at the same time. That got me really excited. However, he did clarify, I think, that we will be getting Terminus and Liberty Falls, which are the 2 base maps, and then 4 others throughout its life cycle. So, okay, not quite as exciting, but still a total of 6 zombies maps for Black Ops 6, which when you compare that to Vanguard or Cold War, which had only 4 zombies maps in that game, D Machine, Firebase C, Maudertoten and Forsaken, to know that Black Ops 6 is getting 6 zombies maps is really good, because that used to be the standard. 2 maps on day one and then 4 DLC maps. That was what we had for Black Ops 3, that was what we had for Black Ops 2, that was what we had for Black Ops 1. The only one that didn't was World at War, but you can excuse that because it was the first zombies mode ever, along with Cold War and Vanguard. And with all those games that I've just mentioned that also had 6 zombies maps on them, the one thing they all had in common was they included a lot of content. 6 zombies maps is more than enough to keep us busy for a year. It's basically one every 2 to 3 months. And the amount of content there is in a single map, most of the time, but not always, lasts you until the next one. So 6 maps for me is perfect. Any more, and we might end up in a situation like Black Ops 4, where it was a little bit overwhelming having 4 maps to play on day one. You didn't know which one to play. Most people didn't split their playtime between maps equally, so 1 or 2 just got abandoned and never really played. And it meant Treyarch couldn't really focus on one thing at a time and perfect it. Instead, you just get a bunch of random, almost half-completed maps. So yeah, to be honest, even without this leak, I expected this anyway, because Black Ops 6 has had 4 years of development. There was absolutely no reason for us to not get at least 6 zombies maps on it. Any less, I think, would be unacceptable. Although I will admit, I did get excited when I first read it, thinking that he was on about 6 DLC maps, 1 per season. Now that would be interesting, and there's also been a lot of leaks going around as of late. One of them caught my eye because it's something that a lot of people want. It's something that we were promised for a long time. I think we've come to the realization now that it's probably not going to happen, but if it does, then Black Ops 6 is our best chance, I believe, and that is Zombies Chronicles 2. I saw this leak all over Twitter. It's clearly fake. This reminds me of the OG days back when I started YouTube during early Black Ops 2, and there was this kind of stuff happened every single week, where people would just make fake concepts for fake maps, but it was fun and interesting to see people's ideas. This image reminds me of that, but I did see a few people fall for it, a few people get excited. The only thing I will say is, as I'm sure you know, we were told by leakers, this is why I said at the beginning of the video, take every leak with a grain of salt. Just because someone says it, it doesn't mean it's 100% going to happen. But we were told by some credible leakers during Cold War and Black Ops 4 that we were going to get Zombies Chronicles 2, that those maps were finished, they were completed, they were ready to release, but for whatever reason, Treyarch and Activision never released them. They said Buried, Die Rise, Transit and a few other maps which are a part of Zombies Chronicles 2 were finished. They told us Treyarch's plan was to release them after Black Ops 4, but that didn't happen. It then got pushed back to Cold War. It would be DLC 5 or Year 2 for that game, but that never happened. And since then we've had Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3, and we never heard anything of Zombies Chronicles 2 again, which brought me to the conclusion that every single one of those leakers that spoke about it had no idea what they were on about. It's either that or Treyarch did fully make all those maps and never released them for whatever reason. Maybe Black Ops 4's failure, or Cold War just didn't do as good as they expected, or they just couldn't find a perfect time to release it in between Cold War and Vanguard Zombies, because it was only a month or two between those games' releases. So if for whatever reason Zombies Chronicles 2 does exist, I will say I think Black Ops 6 is probably the game we would get it on. Having seen all of the hype, having seen the amount of effort that's been put into Zombies this year, if we were ever going to get Zombies Chronicles 2 in a game, it would be Black Ops 6. The only issue I can see is similar to Cold War and Vanguard. From what we've been told, next year in 2025 we are getting a kind of Black Ops 2 remake. Basically another Black Ops game which will include zombies. However, it will be the Outbreak mode, as you can see here, tweeted out by MW Zombies and Warzone News. How he got this information, I don't know, I haven't seen it anywhere else, so it could be totally false, but his timeline for the next few Call of Duties is this year we are getting round-based zombies in Black Ops 6, next year in 2025 we are getting Outbreak zombies in Black Ops 7, and then the year after in 2026 we are getting DMZ in Modern Warfare 4. Those are all of the third modes in the next 3 Call of Duties, but if we are getting round-based zombies this year and Outbreak zombies next year, that doesn't leave much of a time gap for Treyarch to release Zombies Chronicles 2. That's the only issue I can see, and that's all I'm going to say about it, again, because I don't even think it exists. And then something else that caught my eye that was put out by MZC was that he thinks Black Ops 6 Zombies will feature a super Easter egg, because the game will track your completion of the main quests on every map. Now, there's a reason for this. That's because of the new save feature. You can now play a game of zombies, complete half of the Easter egg, maybe it takes you an hour, half an hour, and then you have to leave, so you can save your game, quit, and then come back to it days later. Just load up your save and carry on from where you left off. So the reason why the game is tracking completion of main quests is because of the save function, how you can do half of the Easter egg and then do the other half later. As he says, this could also lead to a super Easter egg potentially. It's not something new in zombies. Still to this date, the best one we've ever had was in Infinite Warfare, but we'll just have to wait and see. Similar to Zombies Chronicles and 6 DLC maps, you can just wish. So yeah, there we go. Some leaked information regarding maps, DLC, Easter eggs and future games. It's always worth going over stuff like this. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, goodbye.